Hey guys, and welcome back. This is part 2 to my series about the healing process of a miscarriage. So in my last video, I talked about my personal miscarriage story and how me and my husband got through it. And today I really just want to dive in deeper to that, show you guys a little bit more info about the process of miscarriage, the medical information on it, and things that you can do to help yourself get through your miscarriage. You have a couple options with your miscarriage of how you want to handle it. So you can decide to miscarry naturally, which can take your body any amount of time, or you can decide to pursue medically managed miscarriage, which is what I pursued. I didn't have a choice, my body didn't want to. And if that is what you're choosing to pursue, advice is to choose it sooner than later. Hardest part for me was waiting as long as I did. It's hard to choose it in the moment because you do feel like you're choosing to get rid of something you wanted. When you go to a doctor to pursue a medically managed miscarriage, they are going to take your HCG levels and they are going to tell you what they are and what you should be looking for. They're going to sit you down and talk to you about your options. There are a couple different drug routes you can go, and based upon your situation, your doctor is going to offer you what drug they believe is best for your situation. Mine was a pill that I had to insert vaginally, and what it basically did was start the contractions and basically started the process of miscarrying. The lady sat me down and explained to me what I could expect with the medicine that I was going to be taking. As it starts those contractions in your body, and then you're gonna start passing tissue, and then she tells you what to look out for. You really don't want to have a fever for more than 24 hours. She's going to tell you what medicines you can and cannot take. That is the route you choose with the medicine. Just know that you're going to generally need about 4 days off, and you could bleed for way longer than that. I bled for probably about 2 weeks. Heavier after the doses were done. It passed quite a lot of tissue. It's going to be more than you think. A lot that just is stored in there to give nutrients to the baby. You have to generally pass the sac of the baby and the placenta. You're going to have up to lemons sized clots that you're going to be passing if you decide to go that route with the medicine. Another thing is that it's gonna hurt. There are cramps. It is basically like period. If you're not wanting to feel that, a lot of women don't like to feel the pain because what's the point of feeling the pain when you're already going through so much pain? Don't feel guilty choosing to take pain medication. My doctor gave me Vicodin. I didn't take any of it, but many doctors will prescribe a painkiller so that way you're already going through this hard process. It is okay to choose the medically miscarriage route. It is not shameful. It is fine. You have no choice, and don't feel guilty about that. You're going to feel guilty about it anyways. You are going to be okay. The second option with your miscarriage is to pursue a D&C. Only a D&C is if you are too far along to pass the tissue naturally. What a D&C is dilate, and I'll have to put it up here. Is they basically dilate your cervix, and they actually physically go in and clean out the uterus of all the tissue, thus making sure that it's all out so that you don't have a chance of infection. They normally give you general anesthesia for this procedure, and it's pretty quick. Many women that it wasn't painful, but there are situations where they might not give you anesthesia and it may be painful. I can't speak a lot on that one because I haven't personally been through the D&C process, but I want to give you guys a general knowledge of if that is something that you are going to go in and pursue, that your doctor is going to talk to you about the side effects of it, what to expect. You'll still have bleeding. It's a lot quicker of a process to go through the actual D&C versus going through the medicine. The reason I chose the medicine was I still wanted that opportunity to do it myself. I wasn't far enough along that I was at a huge risk of infection, but the kind of cautionary tale with the medicine is that if your HCG numbers don't go down, they still have to go in and do a D&C. So it's kind of like a last resort option that you might still have to get a D&C anyways. So it's not a guaranteed process. A couple of things I want to talk about that you're probably feeling right now going through this process is you're probably feeling like a failure. We really put a lot of pressure on ourselves when it's time to get pregnant, and you probably feel like you failed at what your body's supposed to do. You probably feel like your body has betrayed you, and those are very real, legitimate feelings. I tell you, it's okay to feel those things. It is okay to feel like a failure. It is okay to feel like your body has betrayed you. Oftentimes, women that have miscarriages feel like it's their body's fault because of their weight or their size or what they did or what the exercise they did, if they painted. And I just want to tell you that these things just happen sometimes. A lot of the times it's your first pregnancy and it's like a jump start to your system, and your system doesn't know what's going on. Take comfort that these things happen. They just happen. It wasn't because you went to the gym. It wasn't because you painted. It wasn't because you weigh a certain number. It wasn't because you're too skinny. It wasn't because, you glass of wine and you didn't know. These things happen. And it's okay. You're going to be okay. And I also want to speak to not feeling like yourself anymore. And that's because you're not the same person anymore. The person you were before this happened to you, you're a different person now. You have been through something significantly difficult. And it is okay to say, I don't feel like that person anymore. And it is time to rediscover who you are on this side of things and learn how to heal and get comfortable with the new you. I'm going to give you guys some tips on helping yourself kind of discover the new you, how to help yourself heal, some ideas for just getting through this. The biggest thing is that you are not alone. Find a support group. There are a lot of pages on Facebook that have thousands upon thousands of women that have also experienced what you and I have gone through. And that's what I did. I felt so alone because we chose to not publicly talk about our miscarriage when we first had it. And that is my biggest tip. You don't necessarily have to tell the people outside of your inner family circle, but join a support group. They're generally private on Facebook, and you can ask whatever questions that you may have about the process on your Facebook group. Or Reddit is a great place. There's a lot of places online that have different forms for miscarriages as well. So if you're feeling a certain way, if you are having this symptom, they can answer your questions on there and also offer you support. You're not alone. It is, unfortunately, thousands of women have gone through this, celebrities. Miscarriage really does not discriminate. So find a support group, have good people in your life to support you through this. I often would text my sister and my best friend, and they knew that I just needed to get my thoughts out. So have that safe person to help you get through it and say, yes, it does suck. They don't need to say anything back, but that you can text, that you're angry, that you don't understand. Have those people in your life to help you get through this. Things you can do to heal. For me specifically, I'm really into music and dancing. So for me, I found a lot of really good songs that really helped me through my process. The first song is called Yellow Balloons. It's by David Dunn, and it is a song that he wrote about losing his niece unexpectedly. Find a song that helps you mourn this time in your life. You have to properly mourn that you have had a huge loss in your life, and it is a huge thing. You have to walk through all the stages of grief. So really allow yourself to cry. Really allow yourself to find those sad songs that are gonna make you bawl. I listened to the song I Have Questions by Camila Cabello a lot. It's a song just about different questions she had, and it's kind of dark and it's kind of moody and it's angry. But that really just helped me walk through a lot of the anger that I had in my situation and really just helped me to mourn. Dancing for me was a huge one. I'm a dancer. I used to teach ballet. So I would turn off all the lights in my house and be really emo and just dance and throw myself on the floor. One time I threw a wine glass. If you need to throw something and break it in a safe environment where you're not hurting anyone else, that is fine. A lot of people will say to people who are going through miscarriages, well, you never have an excuse to act out like that. Every healing process is different, and we shouldn't judge someone who does need to throw a wine glass to feel better. Not saying that you should rely on that as a thing, but sometimes You just need to break a wine glass, and that's fine. It's all a part of making sure that you're walking slowly through this process to get to an eventual place of where you are feeling less of the pain. I personally don't like to talk about my miscarriage. There will never be a time where I like to sit and dwell on it. Even talking about it now, it's easy to talk about it and gloss over it, but if I were to sit here and just think about the loss that I had, it is still painful. And it's not necessarily about forgetting what you went through, because this is a part of who you are now, and it's learn how to carry it. It's learning how to carry who you are now as a person. And so don't be afraid of the good days. There are going to be good days where you feel bad for feeling good, and there's going to be really bad days where you feel like you took 10 steps back, and that's fine. The way you can heal is you can hold a ceremony for your baby. If you are able to have the tissue from your baby, then you can find some place that you really enjoy as a couple that is private and special to you, and you can go out and have a service and bury them and plant flowers. You can do what I did. I wrote a note and we connected it to the balloons and we sent it off into the bay, and that was really cathartic for us to just be alone as a couple. You can invite your parents. I had a second kind of little ceremony where we got a yellow balloon and we went out to a field of lily pads with my family and had my dad and my mom and my sister there, and we just sat in silence together, and it was a really great support. Tattoo, if you are the tattoo route, you can, a lot of people will get an elephant holding a pink and blue balloon, and you can get that small somewhere on your body. For a lot of people, that's a really great way for them to honor and remember the baby that they lost. If you decide to not get a tattoo, great. I didn't personally get a tattoo. It's what you need to heal and have that baby with you in that way. Don't feel ashamed to do that, and don't let people tell you, oh, you shouldn't have done that. It's your healing process. You get to decide. Guys, I just want to add, you can also get a piece of jewelry to remember your baby by. I got this infinity symbol, and I really love it. Another thing I did was I did a lot of journaling. I wrote out my thoughts every day, and I can go back and read through them. My first journal entry from the day after my baby passed away was today I found out my baby passed away. The thing I did to heal was I wrote a blog post. And October is Infant and Pregnancy Loss Awareness Month, and so when it came to be around October, I publicly decided to share my story. This is a really good way to have some healing, because there's something that almost traps you inside when you decide to not talk about going through a miscarriage. It makes you feel like you're alone, and you're not. There are a lot of other people that have gone through this, and the response I got back from sharing my blog post was amazing. That there is hope in your mess. I had to rediscover who I was as a person, so for me, that meant taking care of me, pampering myself. For me personally, taking baths, being selfish, discovering things I liked, learning how to heal my body, letting my body take its time, treating myself well, journaling. I had so many women tell me, Jessica, I've been through this. And the general outcome that I had from people was, thank you so much for sharing, for bringing an awareness to this. You feel brave enough to do that. Google different miscarriage stories. You're gonna find lots of blogs on them, and read blogs. Find people that you can identify with and surround yourself with those people who can really uplift you and encourage you. Another thing for me that really got me through my miscarriage was my faith. When I went through this, I kept on asking, why God, why? And I had no idea in that moment, and you may feel this way too, how am I gonna get through this? How am I gonna get through this and survive? I feel like you're drowning, and a lot of the times you just feel like you're being sucked away in the bottom of the ocean, and you feel like you're grasping for air, and you don't understand. For me, my faith pulled me up, because I knew that no matter what my situation was, that God was gonna get me through it. And just leaning on God and just trusting that, God, you need to put me back together. I'm not gonna be able to do this. My heart is broken. My brain doesn't understand. And slowly through time, this was teaching me how to better sympathize with other people who were brokenhearted. you can really find a lot of comfort in other people that are brokenhearted walking through this. I found a group of women who were incredibly strong, that were all working through the same thing as me, and realizing that emotions are okay. For me, I'm someone who represses their emotions. So for me, this taught me that you have to walk through your emotions in a healthy way. You can't repress them. You have to walk through them. You have to deal with the fact that you're angry. You have to walk through the crying. You have to walk through the sorrow and learn how to deal with it in a healthy adult way. It's God showing me songs. It was God speaking to my heart. It was God bringing people to me who had been through similar situations, that I eventually, one day I was like, I feel okay today. I don't feel great, but I feel okay today. So for me, my faith really got me through a lot of it. And when this all started, I didn't think I was going to survive. At my lowest moment, I wanted to take all my Vicodin. I wanted to sleep forever. And if you are feeling like you are depressed and suicidal, please reach out to someone and talk to them about it, that you're feeling this way. It is okay to feel depressed. It is okay to feel suicidal. It is okay to feel all these things. It's walking through it slowly and finding the way that you need to heal for you. So my promise to you is, if you are walking through a miscarriage right now, you can get through it. I promise you that there is hope in your situation. You may not understand the purpose in this situation, why it would make any sense for you to go through this, why you're now a part of this really sucky club, but I promise you there's a purpose. It could be for you to encourage one person down the road going through a hard time. It could be that your sister is going through a miscarriage and it's been a year or two after your miscarriage. It could be your best friend. It could be someone on the street that you need to speak an encouraging word. And I promise you that it's messy right now. It feels like a shipwreck and you just feel like there's disaster everywhere. And I promise you that in time, you will rebuild from your ashes. And there is hope. If you're desperate for a baby, I promise that there is hope in your situation. I'll link some books that I also found really handy for my miscarriage. The top one would be called Jessie Found in Heaven. It is an amazing, artistically well put together book that really helped me with my miscarriage. So guys, this is the second part of my video. If you are walking through a miscarriage and you found this video, just know that I am praying for you. I've said a prayer for you, whether I know you or not. Hope that you know that you can find hope in your mess, even though it's very overwhelming. And so I just wanted to say thanks so much for watching, guys. Make sure to subscribe, and you can follow all my social medias, and I will see you guys next time.